Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 23rd November 2024. So let's get started with our discussion. So actually there are very less number of articles which are present in our newspaper regarding our UPSC point of view. So whatever the articles are there, we are going to see this. Okay, let us see the first very interesting article. So the title, guys, see the title, Humanoid Teacher Makes Learning Fun. So what is the keyword? Humanoid. So what is the meaning of humanoid? It is a type of robot, right? So which will be appearing like a human and doing the works like a human. Okay, so here the keyword is humanoid. So humanoid comes under one type of robot. So actually in your science and technology you have a topic called as robotics. So there you will be studying directly. It is part of your syllabus from science and technology, which comes under GS paper 3. So tell me in which field we are using this robot now? As a teacher, right? That means we are using robots in education. Okay, so here this article is talking about, especially now we are also using this humanoid robots in this education. So especially you have to see what are the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages and disadvantages of using robots in education. So can you tell me what might be the advantages, guys, if you are using these robots? So what will be the advantages of using robots? Can we make learning interesting? Yes. So first one is we can create some interest in learning, especially in students. And next one is these robots, they have a capability of talking in many languages, because if you are programming anything, that will be done, right? So it will be having ability of talking in many languages. So as you all know that our country is a very diverse country. So we have even linguistic diversity. That means difference in the languages which are spoken in the different parts of the country. And even it will be helpful for ensuring linguistic diversity. And even it will be clearing the doubts in different languages. So that can we ensure proper implementation of this National Education Policy 2020? So in this National Education Policy, they are saying that we have to go for teaching in mother tongue, right? So here, for that also, this using of these robots is very important. And even we can make efficient communication by using these robots. For example, if any student who is asking the doubts a teacher regularly and frequently, he may get irritated, but it is not the problem with these robots. So how many doubts they are asking, so it will be answering clearly, so there will be no sense of shouting on the students, so that we can promote even creative learning. So these are the advantages. Now tell me what might be the disadvantages of using these robots. Okay, reducing teachers, that means it may create unemployment. Okay, next. And they may lack empathy. That comes under here only, Balaji. Empathy. Empathy is lacking. They may not understand the emotions of students. Next. Next, actually it is a program. There may be a chance of changing of programming so that it can be used in a negative way. For example, movie robot. Second part will be like negative things of using AI. Next. Initially, is it easy to bring the robots? We need to have, yes, cost efficiency. Cost will be high. And even implementation problem will happen, right? So if you see nowadays we are using robots in different fields, like defense we are using, even in hotels we are using, even in hospitals we are using, and now even in TV channels also we have anchors which are of AI, and now we are using these humanoid robots in education. So actually whenever if you see the financial efficiency, yes, initially the cost is very high, I can accept with you. So here in education, we have two types of education system, like private education and public education. So whenever we are talking about efficiency of education, who will take more innovations? Obviously, private institutions will be taking. That means again there will be the gap between public and private institutions. So this is also an important problem. But actually, this article is talking about a humanoid robot in public school. That means government school. It is very important. Okay, so let us see this article in detail. So actually this AI powered humanoid robot teacher name is Nova. So you can get a question like recently Nova is seen in news. What it is related to? Okay, it is AI powered humanoid teacher introduced in government school in Kerala. So by introducing this humanoid robot, they want to transform learning experience of lower primary students. And what is a dress attire? So if you see this image, so this humanoid robot is within brick red color saree. And actually one important special feature of this Nova is it will engages in students with 4 languages, so that will be helpful in increasing of communication skills of students, and as well as it will be increasing curiosity about technology. The students will be having more interest regarding technology, how we can use that, what is technology, what are applications. So they will be learning at a very tender age because it is introduced in primary school students. Okay, now let us see 7 important points regarding this article. The first one is nowadays we are using some innovative teaching methods. For example, Nova. So whenever we are using this type of technology, obviously we can increase engaging of students and we can make sessions more interactive, and even we can create interest in the students regarding education to go to schools to learn something like that. And next one here is we can also increase language proficiency. So whenever this robot which can talk like 4 languages, it will be enable students to ask their questions in these 4 languages. So in this way we can also promote linguistic diversity of our country, so that it will be enhances communication skills in our today's globalized era. And next one here is even students will be getting fascinated regarding understanding of noble innovations in education, like increasing of technology even in these educations. And next one here is we can also see that there is integration of technology in our education. Especially students will understand technology driven future, so that as you all know that when we are comparing with the private schools and government schools, obviously there is digital divide. So this digital divide can be decreased if you are incorporating more number of robots in our government schools. So that is a one important thing that you have to remember. And next important article here is FTA negotiations with India to restart in early 2025. UK PM tells Parliament. So what is the keyword here? So what is this FTA? Free Trade Agreement. So between which and which countries? India and UK. Okay. So the keyword here you have to learn about free trade agreement. So what happens if you are having a free trade agreement between 2 countries, 1 and 2? They sign this FTA. So what will be the advantages? Free trade agreement means in trade what? Let us break this. Free trade agreement. Okay, trade means nothing but imports and exports. So free means there should be no barriers. So what are the examples of barriers? Export duty and import duty. So whenever we are going for exports, on this exports, export duty will be imposed from the country 1 and import duty will be imposed by country 2. So that what happens whenever these duties are imposed, the cost of that product will be increased. So whenever cost is increased, there will be decreasing of competition. Okay, that means we can't ensure free and fair trade. Okay, so to ensure free and fair trade, we should not have any barriers. So whenever any country or 2 countries are coming forward and having this kind of agreements of free trade, then there will be no export duty and import duty. So we can access this markets easily so that we can go for more exports and more imports. That will be helpful for economy of that country, economic growth of that country. Okay. So now this article is saying that from 2025, in the start of 2025, India and UK are going to talk about FTA. Okay, so why 2025? Recently, what happened in India? Also, elections done, right? So we got elections result on June 4th. That is at the central part. So in the same way, UK also had elections. So because of this elections between two countries, so this FTA finalization had been delayed. And now by the start of 2025, we are going to have this. So whenever we are having this FTA done with these two countries, then here we can increase our exports to UK. Okay, that will be helpful for increasing of economic activities in India. Finally, that will lead to economic growth of our country. So how we can ensure the economic growth? Whenever economic activities are increased, that means whenever there is a production increase, we can increase employment, we can increase standard of living of people, we can address some issues like poverty, hunger, etc. So all these things will happen. So because of this, finally we can ensure economic growth. So here you have to know about what is this FTA is about. And here you have to see what are the provisions or features of this FTA, and you have to see what are the advantages and disadvantages of this FTA. And India is having FTA with which of the countries so far? So this is very important from prelims point of view. So now here 2025 you are going to write prelims. So this FTI is from 2025 itself. So there may be a chance of asking question in your prelims like which of the following countries are having FTA with India? Choose the correct or incorrect. So like that you may get a question. And even there is a high chance of getting question regarding FTA in mains also. So define what is FTA and what are the advantages, disadvantages or challenges, or suggest some measures. So in this way, you will be getting question. Okay? Huh? Yeah. Okay. So European Union is a unit of countries. Okay, is a unit of countries. So here, because of this carbon border adjustment, CABM, what happens? So there will be decreasing of our imports because that carbon tax will be imposed on our exports. So because of this, there will be increasing of price. So because of this, if you are having this kind of agreements, we will be sending our exports to only UK so that we can have the access. So there may be not barriers can be imposed. Okay. Yeah, see this article, what exactly it is saying. So UK Prime Minister announced in Parliament that trade agreement negotiation, that is FTA negotiations with India, they are going to be start in early 2025. Okay, so this is the decision which said in recent G20 summit in Brazil. And actually, whenever they are coming up with this kind of agreements, obviously it will be increasing bilateral ties or bilateral relations between the countries in these sectors. Okay, so actually these negotiations had been paused because of election cycles in these both countries in the recent past. Okay, so whenever we are having this restarting of FTA negotiations, it mainly says that both countries are committed towards strengthening of trade between these two countries. Okay, so as UK seeks new trade partnership, India represents a significant opportunity for economic growth and as well as diversification of our trade routes. So till now we depended on only limited countries like China, US, Russia, like that. So whenever we are having this kind of agreement with European country, we can go for diversification of our trade. Okay. And next important point here is we can also boost our GDP like 42 billion annually because of this partnership. So whenever we are having this kind of agreements, we can increase our exports and as well as imports, it will be benefiting various sectors of both the countries. And even we can have multilateral engagement with the different countries. And even UK wants to improve its presence in Indo-Pacific region. So India is sharing directly boundary with Indian Ocean region. So because of this, this agreement will also boost UK's presence in India. And next one here is investment opportunities. Whenever we are having this FTA, we will be obviously increasing our production. So in that production sector, we can attract more amount of investment, that is foreign investment. It may be FDI and as well as FII. And this one is it is also going to have socio-economic impact. That means increasing of job creation, increasing of public services, and will be especially benefiting the working families in our country so that we can address poverty, hunger, malnutrition to some extent. Okay, clear. And even we are having strong cultural ties and negotiations with this UK. So since Britishers who came to India onwards, so because of this, we may also maintain proper cultural links as well. Okay, so that is a thing. And say this article, agriculture services sector offer skilling opportunities, says a study. What is this article? Skilling need to be happen in agriculture and service sector. So this article is important from different sectors of economy. So can you tell me examples of sectors of our economy? Yes. So first one is primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary sector and quinary sector. Okay, so agriculture comes under primary sector. Industries comes under secondary sector and services comes under third sector or tertiary sector. We will be keeping this aside. Okay, so actually if you see, agriculture is contributing very less, around 18 to 19 percentage to our GDP. But how many people are working in this agriculture sector? More than 50 percentage of people, they are working in agriculture sector. It is approximately. So here service sector is also contributing very good. It is around 30 percentage of contribution from service sector, and from industrial sector it is very less contribution. So actually when we were focusing on this industrial sector, we can improve employment opportunities, so we can improve economic growth, etc. So the problem in our country is we directly shifted from agriculture towards service sector. So it is a problem in our country. Okay, so here this article is saying that agriculture, most amount of population they are working in this agriculture sector, and here we need to go for skilling of people. Okay, so this article is saying that industry, it is neglected sector in our country, but here service sector, it is contributing a lot to our economy, and even though agriculture is contributing less, but more amount of population they are working in this sector. So because of this, we have to go for skilling of people who are working in this agriculture and service sector. So this is a thing which said by World Bank itself. Okay, now let us see this article in detail, why World Bank is saying like this. We have to go for skilling of people. So World Bank came up with a study, and the title of this study is Jobs at Your Doorsteps. Jobs at your doorsteps. And this report is saying that we have to provide skilling opportunities for the people who are working in this agriculture and service sector for youth employment, especially in several Indian states. So there are some states which are focusing on industries. For example, Tamil Nadu, it is focusing on industries and it is very good in industries. But if you go to like northern part like UP, etc., so they are focusing on agriculture. So especially the states which are focusing on agriculture, we have to go for especially youth employment in these sectors where they need some skills. So actually this report is saying that we need to increase the employability and we have to increase the skills, especially skill education to the local economic needs. For example, in agriculture also, not only growing of food grains, even we have different types of culture like horticulture, sericulture, floriculture, like that. So sectors like horticulture, dairy, IT, so etc., they are identified for the growth. Especially in service sector, IT is having the more amount of growth. So in horticulture, in dairy, in IT sector, so we can go for youth skilling of this. Okay, so those things that are mainly said here. So this article is saying that agriculture has a viable path of employment and entrepreneurship. So here WB, that is World Bank, is saying that we have to go for enhancing of skill in these areas like horticulture, and livestock health, that will leads to increasing of income growth of individuals. And next one here is we can also go for expansion of service sector. Especially in the service sector, we can go for retail and banking. So they are having the good amount of growth, so that we can go for multi-sectoral skilling, so that we can enhance employability in our country. And even we can focus on IT sector. And this article is saying that we need to go for skill education according to the local economic needs. Okay, and next one here is even small and medium and micro enterprises, they are going to be uh, hired for only skilled workers, so that we need to go for providing of training for multiple competencies. And this one is whenever these people they are getting any skills or training, so they have to get the certification, so that they will be reducing the gap of education as well as the skills they are having, so that they will be getting better employment opportunities. And the next one here is we need to have the collaborative curriculum development, like whatever the industries which are present now, so what are the skill they are having now, so they have to collaborate with the education institutions, and they have to go for training and imparting of the skills to the students, so that what happens, students will be getting what are the skill which is required by the companies, so that they will be meeting the employer demands, so that they will be getting better salary and better opportunities. Okay, and see this article, urgent deadline. Poverty and climate change must be tackled urgently by the G20. Okay, so what is the relationship between poverty and climate change? Due to climate change, poverty is increasing or decreasing? Increasing. Can you give me some examples? Huh? Huh? Pro Okay, crops. So because of climate change, agriculture productivity is decreasing. That is leading to the poverty in farmers. Okay, accept it. Any more examples? Okay, so because of climate change, it is affecting the fish. So we have to go for diversification of traditional fish, which we studied in the recent days. Next. Next. Yes, because of landslides in recent Wayanad, that led to loss of livelihood, everything that led to increasing of poverty. Okay, next. Because of glacial lake outburst floods, because of volcanic eruptions. Next. Uh, can you give me some more examples? Floods. Because of increasing of sea level. What is happening? Especially people who are living in the coast areas, they are leaving everything and they are coming to the mainland heart. So that also there is increasing of socio-economic conflicts, increasing of poverty and hunger. And next, can you tell me examples of other countries? Okay, air quality, how? How climate change and air quality are interrelated? Okay, it affects health. Okay, if health decrease, poverty will increase. Okay, next. Ah, because of climate change, even there is increasing of vector-borne disease because of increasing of breeding of mosquitoes. And next, we also studied that because of climate change, especially because of increasing of dry climate, increasing of peafowl population is happening in Tamil Nadu. It is affecting again crops and agriculture productivity. Very good. Next. Come on, next. Can you give me examples outside India? Outside India, in other continents or other countries, how climate change is increasing poverty. Because here we are talking about role of G20. That means it is not only related to India. So there are 20 other countries, they are part of it, right? Now tell me what are the examples that you know which happen outside our country regarding. Okay, floods. Very good. Because of floods in Nigeria, India came up with humanitarian aid of sending 20 tons of food grains. Very good. Next. Earthquakes where? Earthquakes in Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay, even earthquakes in Nepal, India will be helping. Okay, next. Recent volcanic eruption where? Iceland. So is that habitated or inhabited area? Okay, now tell me examples. Some more examples. Recently, heat waves happened in Europe. It is also one extreme climate weather event. Because of that, it affected. And even there is melting of permafrost. Because of that, again, yes. This is also helpful for your essay. Essay you have to write ultimately 1200 words. If you remember, if I revising all these things, then only you'll remember, or else you can't. So if I tell 10 examples in examination, you will be remembering only one or two. That is also very difficult for you guys. Okay, now let us see here. What is this G20? Group of 20. So what is the G20? There are 19 countries plus European Union. They are part of this G20. So every year we will be having this G20 summit. Now this G20 summit which is happening in Brazil. Okay, so in this summit they talked about, yes, climate change is also increasing poverty now. Because of this, yeah, G20 need to take some steps to control this climate change. So actually recent G20 summit in this Brazil aimed to address urgent global issues like poverty and climate change. So this is the thing which mainly said. And one more important idea which came up by the Brazil is they advocated for taxing the wealthy to combat poverty. So now wealthy countries, they have to contribute to address this poverty. So is it similar related to this climate finance? So we are talking about this climate finance in COP29, and now in this G20 here, now Brazil is saying that wealthier countries, they have to contribute to address this poverty. Is this right according to you? Yes. Why this? Why this rich countries, they have to give the finance for this addressing of poverty? So what? It is your problem. You have to make your country develop. Then why other countries, they have to give? Uh, Industrial revolution. So can you go back to history? What happened in history? Why the poverty is there now? What might be the reason? So at least connect with India's exploitation of raw materials by these European countries. Yes or no? So these developed countries, so-called developed countries, they exploited raw materials in different colonies at that time. So this is one of the important reason for the poverty, especially in Africa and even in India, right? So because of this, now Brazil advocated that developed countries or wealthy nations, they have to give some finance to combat poverty. So is that can you accept it? Is it right or not? So now can you accept what is the reason behind this? Okay, now let us see what are the key points which gave here. So here now they are focusing on global poverty. Now global poverty, it is a priority. So why this global poverty is a priority now? What happens because of poverty? What happens because of poverty? Hmm? Is poverty good for a country? No. Why? Development decreases, but how? No empowerment. Can you expand on this? How economy decreases? Uh, okay, let me write. So first point you said is due to poverty, government need to focus on social sector schemes. Is it right? Because of that, there is decreasing of capital formation. So because of this, what happened? There is decreasing of economic growth. Next, next point. Very good point. Next, come on. Huh? Uh, okay. So actually taxes, they are mostly example direct tax are progressive. That means only rich people, they will be paying the tax. So whenever there is high poverty in a country, there is decreasing of tax revenue. And again what happened? There is decreasing of economic development of a country. Okay, next. Okay, when there is increasing of poverty, there is effect on investments. Okay, next. So because of poverty, that family will be not affording education, and as well as that family will be not focusing on nutrition. Obviously the productivity of that people will be reduced. So whenever people productivity is reduced, obviously human capital of a country will be affected. Okay, it will be having impact on human capital. It is a most important point. Okay, and what happens whenever there is no proper human capital? Can we utilize this demographic dividend? This will become demographic disaster. Next. Okay, so if there is no human capital here in our country, we have to import human capital. Okay, that will lead to development of other country compared to that of our country. Next. Oh, very good. No global recognition. No global recognition. Next. Come on, no global recognition. Come on, think you. Human capital, demographic dividend, everything comes under a single umbrella. Next. Hmm? Okay. So next one here is the proposal of wealth tax. Says that it is an innovative fiscal policies to address socio-economic disparities. Now, so this wealth tax is becoming a new innovative fiscal policies to address the socio-economic disparities. And this one here is especially global south is represented by our country. So that here global south demands a stronger voice because these global south are the group of countries which are developing and less developed countries, and actually in these countries we have this problem of poverty compared to that of developed countries, right? So here this D20 is saying that we need equitable representation in global decision making, and even because of this poverty itself there will be increasing of conflicts. So because of poverty there will be fightings will happen. So because of this conflicts again it will leads to the less economic development. Okay, that will be affecting investments in a country. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said. So just see about some facts regarding this G20. There is a high chance of getting facts regarding this G20. And here you have to remember the countries which are part of this G20 group. Okay, so there are 19 countries and European Union, they are part of this G20. Countries are Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, UK and US. So if you see the world map and see from continent wise, from which continents, which are the members of this G20, you can easily remember that. Okay. And see what are the objectives of this G20. The first one is we are focusing on economic stability. So we are always focusing on economic growth and as well as financial stability. And we will be focusing on sustainable development. Especially we have to address this climate change and equitable development. And this one is we will be always focused on the crisis management, especially financial and health crisis. And we are focusing on global collaboration as well as inclusivity. That is developed and developing countries, they have to be part of this. Okay, see this article. Forex reserves see sharpest weekly drop on record, hit over 4-month low. So what is the keyword? Forex reserves. So what are these forex reserves? Reserve means we are having reserve. What is the meaning of reserve? What is the meaning of reserves? Storage is called reserve. Forex means foreign currency. Okay, so actually this article is saying that foreign currency is decreasing in our country. Why? What happened? Trump. Next. So what happens if foreign currency is decreasing? Okay, foreign currency, for example, let us take dollars. Dollars is decreasing in India. Trade deficit, okay. So I want to explain this concept in a simple way. So whenever dollar is decreasing in our country, that means obviously we have to pay our debt or anything in dollars, right? So what happens whenever we are having less forex reserves now, but we are having debt and we have to pay that debt, that means we need dollars. So what happens here? There will be increasing of demand for dollars. That means there is decreasing of demand for rupee. Dollars for dollars demand is increasing, for rupee demand is decreasing. That means what happened? The value of rupee will be decreasing, right? So that will lead to depreciation. So what is the value of $1 in rupees now? 90, 80, 84, 84.5, I guess. Yeah, 84.5. So whenever there is decreasing of forex reserves, what happens? There is decrease in the value of Indian rupee. And whenever there is decreasing of forex reserves, even that will lead to trade deficit. Okay. Okay, now let us see here. Indian foreign exchange reserves experienced very low drop of $17.8 billions. It is 4-month low now. Okay, so because of that, what happened? There is decreasing of value of Indian rupee. Now it is 84.4% for rupees against a dollar. Okay, whenever value of rupee is decreasing, then what will be the impact? We have to pay more number of rupees. Then what happens? Yes, it affects our economy. How? In how many ways? Think, you can do it. Hmm? Okay. So there is decreasing of value of rupee. How it will be having negative impact on our economy? What about purchasing power parity? Yes, trade will be decreases with Indian currency. What about purchasing power of people? Decreases or increases? Increases, decreases. Next, so what happens if purchasing power decreases? Can we have the demand for the goods in the market? No, no demand for the goods. What about exports and imports? Tell me, what about exports and imports impact? What about economic production? Huh? Import decreases. What about exports? We don't know. We don't know about exports. Okay, then what about economic production in our country, domestic production? Whenever purchasing power is decreasing, there is no demand. Why you will go for producing of more goods? No. Then what happens? There is decreasing of economic growth, especially in manufacturing sector. So all these are interconnected. If you are seeing a small point here, you have to you have to connect it in the different dimensions. Then only you can write a multi-dimensional answer in your mains. Okay. So actually this article is saying that there is significant reserves decline in our country. So here we can understand that there is lot of volatility that is present in this forex reserves of the country. So because of that, we will be having lot of challenges to be faced, especially in emerging economies like developing countries, economies like India in this global financial shift. And what happens whenever there is decreasing of reserves, there is strengthening of dollar. So because of this, it will be having impact on our Indian rupee. So Indian rupee value is decreasing. That is called as depreciation. So because of this depreciation, what happened? It will be also affecting investor sentiment as well. And now RBI need to take a proper role in maintaining of this. Especially it needs to balance between stabilizing of currency and also maintaining of healthy forex reserves in our country. And next one here is, it will be also affecting foreign investor. So what happens? So there is increasing of lack of confidence of investors in the Indian market. Then what happened? Will they invest? No. There will be decreasing of foreign investment in our country. That will further decrease forex reserves. Okay, that is a thing that you have to remember. There is no need of remembering any value here. Just see that whenever there is decreasing of forex reserves, what will be the impact on dollar, what is the impact on rupee and in Indian market and from the people level. Okay, clear? So these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and if you have any doubts, you can post your doubts in the comment section, and we are providing daily current affairs quiz and as well as daily one mains question and also word of the day in our Telegram channel. Please do join that channel. Link is given in description box. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy. Thank you so much, guys.